What up, nerds, and welcome to another ass-kicking episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 486, recorded on Monday, July 22nd, 2024. Tonight, we're talking about another Patreon pick. This one was chosen by Miles. The movie is The Boxer's Omen from 1983. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy, Randeezy. What's up, man?
How's it going, buddy? Good to talk to you. We're ready to talk about some boxing, some Buddhism, some, I don't know. That's about it.
You ready to duke it out, Randy? Throw some fists?
I'm ready. I'm ready to do battle with the demons, of course, you know?
Well, of course, here come the demons.
I kick ass for Buddha.
Yes.
Last but not least, calling in from Seoul, South Korea, we got your boy, Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, ni hao, boys. It's your boy, Buddha Boy Stains.
Grazie.
Real multicultural outfit here.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm rocking my monk suit, as you can see.
Yeah. They sell
call
those at
it a
Dillard's,
suit,
don't
huh?
they?
My sash.
One of them monk suits, the finest.
Just gonna have to strip down to just my belly, boys.
Oh, my.
Here we go.
I'm only
right,
wearing
well.
my belly. Cool.
I didn't know it was hot tub Buddhism.
Whoa.
Weird.
Yeah.
Shouts outs to Miles. Thanks for picking this week's flick, man. But before we get into the discussion, let's tackle just a little bit of housekeeping real quick. Here's another reminder. Our August poll is currently posted on our Patreon website. If you guys contribute at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this August. August, we wanted to do a Del Toro Spotlight. So we got 3 of his movies on there for you to vote on. They are The Devil's Backbone, Pan's Labyrinth, and Crimson Peak.
Whoa, Bob. How those numbers looking? And closing out July, boys. We're heading straight into it. I know.
It's basically Halloween right now.
The other day I freaked out because it was like the 18th, and I was like verbally checking the date. I was like, and today's July 18th.
I think you did that on the podcast.
I think I did that in real life too. I was just like, Jesus Christ.
Not a bit.
just July. Oh God, no.
Shock at the grim march of time.
We have to go back.
It's 10 times plus speed now.
Jesus Christ. Well, we got the Halloween to look forward to.
Yep.
Until it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Yeah. Well, the numbers. Pan's Labyrinth sitting on top still, 55% of the vote. Then we got a dead heat for second place. Devil's Backbone and Crimson Peak both sitting at 23%.
Ooh, man, that's interesting.
Looks like
battle for second.
Whooping ass.
Yeah.
Stomping dong.
Pan might be a little too old. We might have to bow out of this race and allow some younger blood in there.
Oh, God, Randy.
Don't stomp my dog.
Oh, God.
Rock, flag, and eagle.
Us internationals, don't want to get involved in any of that.
International.
Us internationals?
So are you Chinese or Japanese?
I'm Laotian.
Get your votes in. You got about a week left or so, and we'll see what movie we're talking about this August. In other Patreon news, we're dropping mini casts every other Friday. We just dropped one this past Friday on Oddity, which is a brand new movie in theaters now. Definitely check that one out if you haven't seen it. I think we all have really enjoyed that one. It's I don't know, maybe going to wind up on our top 10 of the year list. I think it.
I could definitely see it.
Have to find out.
Yeah.
Whoa, tease
Stands a
for
chance.
6 months from now.
Whoa.
I mean, it's all rigged anyway, so we already know. But
we've been bought.
I was over there taking bribes from Damien.
It's really a question of dollar amount more than it is anything
straight
else.
chilling top 10, Damien. You gotta
get on your knees and write me a check.
God
damn, Randy.
Fuck.
What?
Oh, I hope he doesn't listen to this. The buy-in starts at $5,000, Damien. Check out
We're a
Oddity.
cheap date.
Yeah. Check out Oddity. It slaps. And next up, we'll be dropping a mini cast on the 2nd of August, and that's going to be Sting. Juice, I think you were talking about that. Spider-Man movie, Sting.
Yep. Talking about Sting. And that was both movies are good. Like are high on my list for 2024 so far.
Tight. Cool. Yeah, that's
Right on.
pretty much all we got going on with Patreon. Do you guys have anything you'd like to plug?
No, I think I'm all set.
We do have a bonus episode upcoming. Are you going to say anything about that, Bob, or should I announce it?
Go for it, man. Let it roll.
So I guess this upcoming Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll be releasing a bonus episode that will be out on our main feed that will just be kind of a wrap up of the BFON Film Festival that we did over the past couple weeks, starting in early July. That was the one out here in Bucheon, South Korea. And we just talked about a lot of the movies that we got to see. I talk about some of the experiences I got to have at the festival itself and some of the people I got to meet and stuff. So yeah, that's should be a fun time coming out this Friday.
Yeah. We talk about, I think, 12, 15 movies on that episode.
Something
A lot
like
of stuff.
that.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was be fun, if I can say.
Randy.
Wow.
No,
I know.
No, you didn't.
This is why you guys have me on at such a high dollar value.
Bringing that A game week after week.
Oh yeah.
We do pay you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In fun. I have I mentioned it on last week's episode, but at the time of you listening to this, it will now be available for your ear holes. I was fortunate enough to sit in with Caitlin over on Plug It Up, and we had a nice discussion about a movie called After Midnight. So check that out everywhere you get your podcast. Plug It Up.
Nice.
Yeah. Faux show.
Awesome.
That's it for me. Are we clean?
Yeah, I think we're clean.
This house is clean.
I have cleansed myself.
Thank God for that. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get in the main event. We are talking The Boxer's Omen, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bob, I noticed you didn't have this box.
I don't. As far as I know, the only way to get it is to buy one of the Shaw Brothers box sets that Arrow Video put out, which are super nice. I don't know. I think at least one of them is out of print already, but I don't know. I don't have any of those, unfortunately. I'm really letting you boys down.
I know.
Burn in hell.
Damn. So yeah, you can get this on Blu-ray, but I think all of us watched it on YouTube. So if you haven't seen it, you can watch it in its entirety on YouTube for free, and also on the Arrow subscription
Streaming
app.
That's where I watched it.
Totally.
Legitimate. How legitimate of you.
So legitimate.
Legitimate.
I just do a free trial every 7 days. I just keep renewing that free trial.
What
They just keep letting me
genius.
try.
I want to try it again.
I'm not sure if I need to.
I
buy
don't
it.
know. I said no 12 times, but maybe this time.
We're talking The Boxer's Omen. This was from 1983. This is unrated. It's at least an R, I would think. Runtime of an hour and 39 minutes. This was written and directed by Chi Hung Kyu. Stars Philip Ko, Xiao Yin Lin, Carman Y, a bunch of other lovely folks. This is
Carman?
My boy Carman Y.
My boy, Carmen. Why?
Carman, why?
This is a Shaw Brothers production. It's a Hong Kong horror movie, and they are known to be pretty damn wild. And this one certainly is wild. So, plot synopsis brought to you by IMDb is as follows. While in Thailand to avenge his brother who was crippled in a fight with a corrupt Thai boxer, a man gets caught up in a web of fate, Buddhism, and black magic. I see it every day, boys. Every day.
Oh, yeah.
Bullshit luck.
Standard tale, you know.
I mean, it's just, tale as old as time. My Friday night. Boys, have you seen this movie before, and would you recommend folks check it out? Randeezy, kick us off, man.
I remember the first time I watched this sitting on my pappy's knee. No, I've never seen this before in my life. Never heard of it, except for a mention from our boy Sean over at the Dark Side of Soul podcast when he was on. I don't remember if that was recorded or just banter before or after, but he had mentioned this movie. And not a strong recommend for me. I think that if you want to watch this movie, it's because you are interested in kung fu movies in general, or at least like in sort of like Asian B movies, and just like the Shaw Brothers era and all that stuff. I think I don't know much about that stuff, but I feel like that's who this is gonna appeal to primarily. I will say that there is some broader appeal in terms of it being just sort of like batshit crazy. If you want to like something that's like completely unexpected in a lot of ways, you could do worse than this, but it's not a strong recommend for me now.
Right on. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I would agree. I don't necessarily think this has wide appeal. I mean, there's so many specifics about it. It's from a certain time that is very outdated now. It's certain production quality, certain country, certain like subgenre, this kind of like kung fu. I don't know. It's very particular in a lot of different facets that I just don't think has a lot of, like wide appeal because of all those particular things. So no, not really. Bob, how about you? Would you recommend people check this out?
No, I would not recommend you check this out.
God, you couldn't wait for the sentence to be done.
No,
God, no.
It's not for your boy. It's interesting. Like, I don't know that I've ever seen it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah,
but oh man, it is.
As far as recommendations go, I don't know who I would recommend this.
I don't know either. I'd recommend it to Miles, and that's like, but
Miles and Sean. Miles and Sean can start their own podcast.
It'd probably be really interesting. Yeah,
probably.
There's not much boxing in this. It's just a bunch of
some
bizarre. Yeah,
to be fair,
there is some. It's a bunch
There's
of
a
weird
couple scenes of it.
A lot of weird practical effects, a lot of like black magic, mystical type stuff. If you're gonna watch this, what I would say, if you want to watch something totally batshit crazy when you're really stoned, this is perfect. Mm-hmm. That's when you want to watch this.
When you and friends are stoned, I think I don't think this is a lone watcher. At least it wasn't for me.
That's the only way.
I would also say sorry.
No, that's it. Yeah.
I would just say I kept thinking of Housekeeping with this film, but it's not quite that charming or distinctive. It's got a lot of distinctiveness, don't get me wrong, but it kind of fits in that realm. It just seems, I don't know, it's Japanese for one thing, so, or rather it's
it's not Asian, Japanese.
Randy.
I do this every fucking time.
Oh, Randy, Jesus God. Christ.
Anyway, it's an Asian action-y sort of thing. I don't know. It just kind of fits in that realm in terms of like the completely bananas decisions and stuff that are going on, and the fact that it feels like multiple kinds of movies rolled into one.
Randy's,
but I would compare it favorably.
Randy's
are we still on our recommendations?
Yeah, we are. It's running a little long. Randy's like, this is basically a Godzilla movie. It's no difference, really.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know. So that doesn't sound like a recommendation. That sounds like a no from the Straight Chilling crew, generally speaking. So we are going to be spoiling the shit out of the boxer's Omen, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Speaking of running long, Bob, do you have a plot synopsis for this? And dear God, what?
Do we have 20 minutes?
I do.
What's
Dude, I had
gonna
to
happen?
This movie is already too long for its own good, in my opinion. But on top of that, like when I was trying to take notes so I could remember what the fuck was happening, I kept having to pause it because I can't like write and read the subtitles.
Oh,
at the same.
no.
So it made it even longer. I was like, oh my god. Also,
Bob, you should use Wikipedia and ChatGPT. This movie is old.
you're right. As a quick side note, another movie that Miles chose for us to review within the past year or so. Yeah, a movie called Human Lanterns. That was another Shaw Brothers joint. And if you want to, like, you know, listen to a very high level summary of like who the Shaw Brothers are, what they did, I kind of run through it in that episode. So I won't repeat it here, but just FYI. Okay, yeah, here's the plot synopsis for this bizarre ass movie. Here we go. Chan Hung is a Hong Kong gangster, and his brother, Chan Wing, I know I'm mispronouncing these, it's fine, is a heavyweight boxer.
Chan Wing.
My boy Chan Wing. Hung watches his brother fight Thai boxer Bu Bo and win. However, my boy Bu Bo is a sore-ass loser, and he lands a sucker punch paralyzing Wing. Shortly after, several members of Hung's crime family are killed, and he is abducted. He's then saved by an apparition of a Buddhist monk. He continues seeing the monk in his apartment. His brother then asks him to get revenge on Bubo, so he travels to Thailand and challenges him to a match. He accepts, and they plan to fight in 3 months. Hung enters a glowing Buddhist temple, nice, for some answers to his visions, and a monk says he's been expecting him for a year. The temple's now deceased head abbot, King Zhao, prophesied his arrival. 1 year earlier, King traveled over to Hong Kong to handle a gang of black magicians. He killed one and disrupted another's ritual. However, one of the magicians summoned killer spiders who stung King in his eyeballs, killing him before he could reach immortality. King has maintained his soul inside of his decaying body, and he told the monks his twin brother from a past life, Hung, would arrive and avenge him and save his life as well as Hung's own life. They're tied together. If one of them dies, they both die. After hearing this, Hung does agree to become a monk and fight the black magicians to help King become immortal. Hung trains and eventually is granted some magic powers of his own. He duels the magician that killed King and brutally murders him. Hung then returns to Hong Kong and breaks the monastic vow of celibacy. He then fights Bu Bo. And back in Thailand, we see 3 black magicians create an undead warrior. She wakes up and stabs a statue in the eyes, causing Hung to go blind during his fight. He finishes unable to see, but still kicks Bubo out of the ring and wins. Hung returns to Thailand. Hung returns to Thailand, and his master. He and his master collect the essence of iron from a plant to help him fight and defeat black magic. As he renews his monastic vows, he lies about being celibate and is banned from the temple. King tells him they're about to die unless Hung collects the golden ashes of one of his former lives, which is now located in a relic in Nepal. So Hung travels over to the temple and sneaks in to take the ashes. The undead warrior finds him there, and they fight. The ashes help defeat the warrior and the remaining black magicians. The spider stingers shoot out of Hung's eyes as well. And Hung ends up returning to Thailand, and King is healed now, and he's finally immortal, and the monks gather to worship as Hung calmly exits the temple. Roll them credits.
Oh, my Lord.
Damn, man.
I honestly kind of thought there was more.
That's a plot. That's me boiling it down as best I can.
There's a couple more like battles and shit. Yeah,
the battles go on forever. They are the highlights of this movie.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
So they give you a lot of the goods.
Yeah,
a lot of the practical.
I'll tell you,
effects.
that's what I was going to praise most. First and foremost, is the practical effects. Like they're not well sold to me. You know what I mean? Like they are cheap effects and they don't look particularly great, but I love them anyway. I find those completely charming and like, I don't know, like scrappy. You know what I mean? I really like that. Yeah. Like the guy who just starts bubbling and popping. Like
that's cool.
I feel like I could achieve that effect and like with enough time and effort, like do that in front of a screen. And it was just really cool looking. Some of the like the bats and shit look ridiculous in a very
the bats
fun
and
way.
Spiders. Whoa.
Yeah,
There's so
I
many
thought they
of
looked
them,
terrible,
too.
but in a really fun way.
Yeah.
I
The skeleton
loved
bat
those.
that starts walking on its
I know,
bones.
Dude, oh my God.
Just shuffling
Incredible.
down for so long,
Incredible.
and the guy like comes over and hammers his ass.
Yeah, I was just like, why didn't you hammer his ass before?
Yeah, it's like he forgot. Like, oh shit!
I love how the
his
dude's
ass.
talking to him like, what happened to you? It's like this bat skeleton. Also, that whole process, like, I'm gonna battle this dude. I'm gonna turn him the bat. I'm gonna take him back to the fucking temple. I'm gonna like it's just like
Yeah.
it goes on and fucking on. And then the guy resurrects him. Then he shows up. He eats a rat. He spits some blood on him. Then it comes back to life. He walks around, dude, hits it with the hammer. It's like, holy shit. Keeping track of what's happening in this movie is really tricky, honestly,
Yeah, it
because that's a backstory of the guy who's avenging his brother. So he took a trip to Thailand and found a pulsating, glowing temple. And then he meets a monk that has to tell him a backstory. And then this is like part 3 of that backstory.
I
like,
didn't
Jesus
realize.
Christ.
I didn't realize that whole thing was a flashback because it's like 20 minutes
Dude,
long.
It's
or
so
something.
long.
So when we
so
jump back to
long,
present day, I was like, that was a flashback.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I mean, it
can't-
has to be because like
Yeah.
the boxing segments of this film and the astral plane Buddhist temple sections of this film feel so distinctively different from each other to me. Like it feels like 2 different fucking movies entirely.
Yeah.
And they are not well weaved at all. Like you just kind of like abandon the fucking. He's a fucking I don't know, like whatever mafioso
Don't say
organization. he
Yakuza,
works with.
Randy.
God.
Don't do
Whatever
it.
organization I'm gonna say Yakuza. I think he's a Gambini. No, I think he's in the Gotti family, and you know, he really like that whole thing. They don't even do anything with that at all. He goes for like it's just a weird like opposite end of the spectrum for him to start at, I guess. But otherwise, there's nothing like even remotely poetic about it or shown about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean, even if you
squad gets
start
murdered
off the
right
first
away.
part of this movie, it is like, okay, it's boxing, and then his brother gets injured. But then, yeah, you're right. Then he goes to see like this mob boss, Uncle 7 or whatever, and then he goes to the thing. So even all that is just kind of like, okay, wait, he's a mob boss. Is he a boxer? Are
And
they
it's-
involved in this
does not-
boxing?
It's moving like at a mile
Yeah.
a minute. It's like, wait, what's
It
happening?
is.
Where are we?
But
Who
then
are we talking
all of a
to?
sudden, this like, Buddhist like vision comes and obliterates everyone, and then you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, what's going on here?
Dude, yeah, there's that, and then there's also like, I'm sorry, Bob, go ahead.
I was just in the first like I don't know 10 minutes of this movie. So many ridiculous fucking things happen. What and like boss hung sitting on the couch with his like Playboy shirt on, and then he just starts eating the shit out of his girl's vagina, and then turns her ass around and got her titties up against the sliding glass door or whatever. Like the
Hey, nothing
it's
wrong
just
with that.
fucking-
It's the
this
best
movie's
segment of the-
cruising. It's wild. This thing's out of control, man.
It goes.
Five
I give
stars.
it that. Like it goes all over the place.
And the thing is, like, you could boil it down to like you could say, okay, gangster's brother gets paralyzed, and he's like living this life of debauchery, and he finds out he has to kind of like take on the ways of a monk to avenge his brother in some way. Like, I guess you could say that, but then I guess the boxing has nothing to do with what he's actually got to do.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I feel like it only comes up again because he has to go back and have this
To
fight. with
it
the
only
guy,
gets him to Thailand, yeah.
and he still wins, and then just like immediately runs out to deal with like,
Yeah.
the real threat. And it's like I don't know. I wish that it feels like they should have like the guy who he's fighting should be some sort of religious man himself who is also like in league with an opposing
Oh, it makes
syndicate
sense.
of some kind.
Yeah. It's
Like,
and
he
then
got
that way
help
you kind
from
of
black
tie everything,
magic.
channel everything through the boxing guy,
Yeah.
and then he turns out to be in some way like either like possessed by or whatever, like that his opponent turns out to be the one pulling the strings, or the one that's secretly like the main witch doctor guy that he's been out of the group that he's been battling. Something like that could have tied this all together. And they didn't need more narrative pipe, really. Like there's just too much going on, and
they're laying too much pipe.
You always need more pipe, Randy. Okay.
I am an advocate for more pipe.
More pipe. This, speaking of pipe, whenever Haas goes back to, after he like turns into a monk, he goes back to see his girlfriend, and she's like, "Man, you must have been banging so many hot ass Thai ladies." And he was like, "No, I haven't. I'm a monk. I've seen through the vanity of existence," or whatever he says. He says something real goofy like that. And she's showering and soaping herself up, and he just hops in the shower with his drawers.
He just side eyes real quick, and he's like, "You know what?
Gets in that shower real quick." And then she's like, "You better not give me any STDs, motherfucker."
Yeah, she's like, "I bet you were getting Thai massages every day. Don't bring any of those diseases." I was like, "Good Lord."
It's like, what movie is this now? Like, what the fuck?
Know.
The best one.
Just, I can see that we Justin got his money's worth with that.
It was. I mean, there was moments, and they're like, they're somewhat connected, because even when the guy's like, "Oh, and also, if you're gonna do this, you got to take on the ways of the monk, or whatever. You got to become a monk." And he's like, "Oh man, that means I can't have sex." So I mean, it's like connected in a very like loose kind of way. Like you could see a thread that's like continuing on. But so when we watched Human Lanterns, I was saying that was my kind of like first exposure. It's weird that I know about, like, just in a general sense, like Hong Kong films, and just like their general, I have an idea about them. But when I watched Human Lanterns, I felt like I was pleasantly surprised, because there were some elements in there, like the crazy laughter and the ha, you know, and some of the crazy flying fights and stuff like that. But for the most part, I feel like I was like very pleasantly surprised. Like this was not really what I was expecting. This movie is exactly what I would expect to see from, if somebody says like, I'm going to throw on like an 80s or like late 70s, like Hong Kong film, this quick editing. Yeah. So the like quick editing where things don't really like connect like particularly well, and the narrative is like very loose or disconnected. And these kind of like lighting, these like bright blue, bright red, bright greens, you know, and like, I don't know, that kind of like fast pace. Yeah, this is what I would more expect, honestly.
This reminded me, as you were listing a lot of those points, when I was watching this, it really reminded me a lot of certain Italian horror movies that we've seen, and some of which we've reviewed on the show. With the lighting and the way that the plot is very much secondary. It's more about a vibe or a mood. And also like all of the eye gore and the spiders and the bats, like all of those are just like Italian horror movie tropes too. And it's just all of it's spookies. Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that, but
I don't know if I see it like totally that. I mean, like to me, it's like it is. I can understand like that it feels more like, it feels like a product of its time. You know what I mean? It does feel like that. But I definitely feel like Human Lanterns was more the Kung Fu movie than this is. Like this is more like spiritual warfare and boxing of all things. Like the action in this is not really Kung Fu. So that's why it throws me.
I guess I just mean the construction of it, like how it looks and feels.
That's all fine. It, like the look of it though, like I kind of love some of the looks of this. I think they go for it in a lot of ways that I really appreciate. Like little things like the light refraction circles that are like auras around the mystical figures and all that stuff. I love that sort of shit. It's such a simple effect that you can achieve on the cheap. That's like, it just looks great to me. It's like dated in a good way. And, but it also seems like I kind of respect the effects, the array of effects that they use, because they do a lot of stuff on the cheap like that, but they also have like a lot of huge set pieces that they easily could have written around and done differently and like prioritize where their spending was going. But instead they kind of have like cheap versions of everything. And I it kind of like it. I gotta applaud them going for it. It's like, no, we're not cutting any of this shit. There's no way we're not gonna have a giant fucking demon statue with skulls floating around it. There's no way that we're not gonna have a guy like bursting into with pussy pustules and all this shit. We gotta have all of it. All of it. It doesn't matter if we only have 35 cents left to do this effect. We're gonna fucking do it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I
it's
kind of
all
respect
on the screen.
that. It's not smart necessarily, but it is artistically driven, maybe, or at least
it's a spectacle. It's like, yeah, it's nonstop crazy batshit stuff on.
It gives me a lot to like look at.
That's the thing, because I was also thinking, because in the same way, the connection I had was Sean also really likes those Italian horror films as well, and I notably don't. And they do have a lot of connections. And knowing that he liked this movie a lot, I was thinking about that, because this is another one where the narrative takes this significant backseat, and it's more about the imagery and this wild feeling and stuff like that. And it really did kind of remind me of the Italian stuff in that way, where it's like, what? And that's the thing, is like, I can respect like the ideas and the things that are going on. I guess I just really need a good solid narrative to ground me, to like follow through. And I think that's like my biggest knock for like these kinds of movies, this Italian movies.
I think
and
that's
stuff
very
like that.
valid, man. I mean,
it's unfocused as fuck.
Yeah.
Like we argued that like Maxine was a little unfocused, that Longlegs was a little unfocused. This is really unfocused in my mind. Like, it does not weave the parts.
I don't think it was ever trying to be. You dig it or you don't. I don't think they failed at a narrative. They just really weren't preoccupied with like weaving a very cohesive narrative. So it's one thing that was cool that came to mind when I was watching this is like Big Trouble in Little China is John Carpenter movie.
Oh yeah,
it's a lot of fun. I'd never seen any movies that had influenced that, really, that I know of anyways. This clearly very much influenced that, or movies like this anyways, and it does make me a little more curious about stuff like this, like Hong Kong features. Like I kind of want to see some more of them. I really did like Human Lanterns. It was a pleasant surprise.
Me too. Yeah, I really liked Human Lanterns.
Maybe we can get some more Rex from Miles in that regard.
Yeah, but see, Ray, I had heard of this movie. Otherwise, I don't know, was it last year maybe or 2 years? We were all talking about, there was this, and I was kind of like, because I was going through like a movie a day, and there was this list, I think, on Letterboxd, and it was like the top 100 regarded horror movies, or highest rated on Letterboxd, something like that. And this was on there. And I was always like, yeah, because Sean had mentioned it, and probably Miles had mentioned it, because I think Miles had considered picking it a couple times, like, maybe I'll pick the Box Omen. So like, it's been in the back of my mind at least for like the past couple years, and so I had like heard of it. So maybe there was like maybe a little bit of expectation going into about what's the reputation of this film and how's it gonna live up, and the thing is, like, I can see it in a similar kind of way, though. I think it's a vibe that it either hits you really well or not. And one thing that was like coming to my mind is like, I think we all really love House from Japan. It's also very wacky. I mean, it's clear narrative, but it's like very kooky, wacky, and in a similar kind of way. And we've watched some other films. The guy
turns into a pile of bananas in that movie. It's
Tetsuo, like the Iron Man or something like that. I mean, I think there's things that are just like really kooky and weird that sometimes just like hit you in the right way. And like, this is that type of movie where like, it doesn't, but I can easily see where it would just strike that note for somebody, because it's got so many unique particular elements. But that's what I was kind of saying, my recommendation. There's so many, and they're all like so particular that I can easily see it resonating with it. But like, in a general sense, it's hard. If it doesn't vibe with you, then it's really hard to cut through a lot of that, because it's so ingrained in like so many particular facets, I think.
No, I generally agree with that. I think that like this movie is enjoyable under the right circumstances only. Like I could see myself, like Rob, you mentioned earlier, like if you were stoned with a bunch of friends and you kind of like knew the silliness you were in for, I could have a great time watching this.
Yeah,
it doesn't necessarily speak too highly of the film itself, but like I think that it's got more than enough to keep me engaged. I felt like this was a movie, you remember when we lived together, Bob, like I made a habit of multiple times when we were hanging out, like having drinks or whatever, putting on a movie, like a silent era movie, and then throwing on some music, like some modern music, and just doing like a mix and match Dark Side of the Rainbow sort of thing.
We would occasionally run the Fog Hog with it too.
Yeah, and it was fog the shit out of the house and just have us a little like fun experience, and it was a blast. I enjoyed doing that. I could see this movie fitting nicely into that sort of thing. Like you throw on some sort of modern music over the top of this, and just like I'm reading subtitles anyway.
Yeah, true.
I think it could be really pretty fucking cool because it's all like the best parts of this to me are all visual, and they do give you a lot. There's a fucking floating head who has tentacles flowing out.
That was cool. That was one of my favorites.
That was fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like I love that. And they didn't have to go the extra mile with that, except apparently they did.
I love the giant crocodile that they like split open and like pull its guts out and then stick the mummy
to revive
in there.
the lady.
And, they bring the woman back. And then like that whole sequence was dope, but at a certain point after that, the thing that I think grossed me out the most in this movie's kind of fucking gross to be honest with you. But what really got me was when they were eating all this like heinous rotten shit and then spitting it out and passing it down to the next dude.
That was not faked.
They're like slamming durian and then spitting it back up and letting your buddy eat it, and like it was nasty, man.
In one shot though, like I was looking, I was like, oh no, oh god, like I was having a visceral jackass level reaction to that.
They weren't
scene.
CGI in that shit, like
no. You can't tell me that a room full of drunk dudes couldn't have a blast watching some of that shit. Just like like fucking
shit was gnarly.
There was shit. Even like ideas like the idea of the floating head with the tentacles, like towards the end, man, there's so much shit that happens. I lose track of like what storyline I'm on. But I think the mutt like grabs the skin and pushes somebody out of their skin and is still like holding their skin. Yeah, that shit's so wild. It's cool ideas executed in an interesting way, even if it does look hokey sometimes.
I agree. Yeah, like
it's cool.
It's hokey,
like that's
like
a cool idea. Yeah, pushing somebody out of their skin and then they like shit blue blood or something, and it's just like it's so fucking wild.
I don't know what the impulse of this was because like what little I know about the Shaw Brothers like production, or like I guess I associate with like a Canon Films of China. You know what I mean? Like that sort of like thing. And that's like strictly a dollars and cents trying to make a little money sort of thing. And I gotta like, so when I think of it that way, I'm like, this movie has to be like monetarily driven. But then you see like some wackadoo shit that like makes no like logical sense, but is just like what the movie puts forward without explanation, without apologies. And they like do it with like slipshot effects because they're on an insanely tight budget.
Yeah.
And I kind of like, is this artistically driven? I really can't tell what the engine of this movie is, and it's kind of like paradoxical. Like, I feel like it kind of does both, but it has like doesn't have a strong claim to either. Like at the same time,
I guess they were getting cheeks in the seats because the Shaw Brothers, I forget how long they made movies for, like 80 years or 90, like for decades and decades. And they didn't always like, they didn't start with crazy wackadoo shit. They started with like proper pictures, but I think their bread and butter, like in the 70s, 80s and beyond or what, it was like the more wackadoo kung fu horror movie stuff. So like, I mean, they wouldn't keep making it if it wasn't making money. So, struck a chord somewhere along the way.
It has to be money. Like there's a money backbone, but this movie itself, like it almost feels like maybe like a Blumhouse sort of thing, or like a what's his name? Fucking the guy who just passed. Human Waits from the Deep. What's that fucker's name?
Corman.
Oh, Roger Corman.
Roger, not Robert.
Yeah. Robert Cordman.
My boy Robert Cordman.
Cordman, yes. No, Roger Corman, he wants to make money. He's like, he has like a couple of parameters to follow, and he just gives it to the filmmaker. And if that's maybe where this is falling, where the filmmaker just had like specific shit they wanted to try, either because it was a cool effect or just because something they dreamed, God knows whatever it was, they just wanted to make a specific kind of thing, and they did it on a shoestring budget in order to make the Roger Corman of China whatever his returns were that he wanted. So maybe that's what it is. It's not necessarily paradoxical. It's just sort of like, it just sort of feels like both artistic and financially driven at the same time. And it's like, it feels discordant, but also it feels so much like those movies in that way. Corman was sort of famous for selling movies before he ever made them. He just had, a poster with a title. He'd sell the movie and then find somebody to go make it. And he'd, be like, well, if it's called The Boxer's Omen, it's got to have a boxer in it, and there's got to be some sort of omen, and whatever else you want to do, fucking go for it. Which would explain why, like, the boxing really takes a back seat in this movie. But yeah, I mean, maybe there was something kind of similar happening. I don't really know.
Well, it is interesting. I mean, we talk about, how many, especially this year, there's been a big boom of like religious horror and stuff like that. Like we're always getting the Catholic Church. We're always getting these like same kind of tropes, the crucifix and stuff. So it is cool to have just an aspect of a Buddhist horror film. I've mentioned this before where like if you go to temples, I don't know. I honestly don't really know anything about Buddhism, but there are these like demon looking creatures or like, things that look evil that are usually like at the foot of Buddha, or they're representing something of like to some kind of temptation or something. But it's interesting to have like maybe some statues of it. It's not the devil, it's like this other thing, or these floating heads, these spiders, or just different aspects. There might be some cultural significance to some of these things that we're just like, I have no fucking idea what that is.
And to that end, we did try to get a guest on here that might be able to speak to that, but it just didn't work out. So our ignorance on this matter is not a product of us not trying to get somebody who knew what they were talking about.
We are aware that we don't know.
So we don't know what the fuck's going on.
We know that we don't know.
but it is nice to have a Buddhist type of horror film or whatever. But it's also interesting too because like in Korea and mostly like Japan, I would say too, the Buddhist temples feel a lot softer. The colors that they use, the design of like the tiles that they use, the way that the temples are constructed. But in this one, like in at least Vietnam, Thailand, China and stuff like that, they're a lot sharper and the kind of more intimidating looking, scarier looking. So the shots that they use of like the outside of this temple, like in Thailand or whatever, where it's got kind of like the jagged designs or whatever, it kind of like lends to this type of feeling that this movie is going for. So it's interesting to see them kind of like utilize the inside spaces where the Buddhas are a lot bigger and they're like golden. And I don't know, it is interesting to see. The locations are cool. And like the utilization of like the architecture and the inside of these spaces is interesting for sure.
Do they model their Buddha in a similar fashion as Christians often do with Jesus, where he's like got a six pack and he's real fucking hot with flowing hair, and you're like, yeah, that's my fucking savior.
Jesus has to be ripped and bleeding.
Sometimes. Well, like, I think, didn't we, Bob, when we went to Kyoto, didn't we go to that one that was like 100 or like 1,000 Buddha statues or something like that? Didn't we go to that? There was like a bunch of different ones, right? And I'm always like, I don't know.
Scary, yeah.
Yeah, some of them are scary, and I'm like, and I remember reading the little plaque about them. I'm like, I don't remember. Like one's the North Wind or something, and he's like fucking shit up. And
there's a thunder god, and
yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's just a lot of like imagery to pull from. Sometimes it is scary, and so it is cool to see like, oh, well, what would a horror film with this type of character in it like look like? And there's like elements of that,
It's just nice, like to your point. I forget who said it now, but like we've seen like Catholicism and Christianity dissected every which way to Sunday and back, and like just very Western focused stuff, So it is nice to sort of like be adrift in this in an interpretation of a theology that I don't have a basis for to speak of. Do you know what I mean? So it just kind of like lets me out into the world. I don't know what is culturally significant and what is just something that this movie like makes up.
Wanted to pull from, yeah.
And so it makes it harder, but it's also freeing in some way. Like I'm not shackled to any baggage about this stuff. I'm not bringing anything to the table myself that's going to counteract what I'm seeing on screen. This movie gets first blush on all that stuff. So like to that effect, I think it benefited my viewing of this, because if I was able to see like, oh, this is where they pulled this and this is where they pulled this, it might be interesting on an academic level, but it would not make the movie more fun to watch. Being completely in no man's land for myself it was like, I don't know, it made the craziness seem that much crazier.
Yeah. It's rare, because we've seen a lot of stuff, a lot of crazy stuff. It's rare to put something on and really be kind of like baffled by how insane it is. And I do have to give this movie some credit for succeeding in that. It's very, very rare. This shit is wild.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's very, very hard to surprise us at this point.
Yeah, it
is a fun experiment to like experience something, and kind of both of those in that way of like imagine if you had no context for Christianity or Western culture and you watch something like The Exorcist.
You watched Immaculate. It's like what the fuck?
Or something, and you're trying to be like, okay, wait. Do people really believe this, or is this something that like happened? Like what elements are exaggerated? What elements are like, what scare
Ignorance
people and stuff? Yeah. So it's like a different like experience to be thrown into something where you're completely have no basis for what's happening. That's a really rare experience.
Yeah.
So
why is it doing this?
We are all now Buddhists after seeing this film. We've been converted. You don't. That's too damn bad.
That is too damn bad.
I actually, honestly, I mean, I guess I don't see like with all the different religions and their priests and monks and stuff like that. I mean, I wouldn't, if somebody asked me before, do monks need to not have sex? I mean, I guess I would have said yes, but I don't really know, like I
would assume that about monks. I think that's because though that's an expectation of the priesthood. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Not because I know anything about Buddhist monks in particular outside of the next Karate Kid movie. So that's about all I know is them dancing to the Cranberries
film,
doing Tai Chi to the Cranberries. Oh, I love that. It's my favorite Korean film of all time.
Got to put on subtitles though. I know Randy hates that.
Mr. Miyagi is like such an interesting Frenchman.
Most iconic Frenchman I know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, like what do y'all have like a favorite segment from the floating head might have been mine. They're all so wackadoo crazy. But I did like that I did like that floating head. That shit was wild.
Yeah, I like that.
That dude spitting out the goop and then like eating it. Like it all kind of like blurs into each other though, too. Like you said, it goes on for like 20 minutes and you're like, I guess this is the same segment, but
they
like
barely ground anything after a while.
My favorite was when they killed the crocodile and like resurrect the woman after sewing her inside of it. That was definitely my favorite. I did see some blurb online that was not specific. I don't know if it's accurate, but there was some like real animal cruelty in this. I don't know what it was.
I thought I spotted that. I'm pretty sure that they really beheaded a chicken and sprayed its blood on shit and things like that. There was maybe one other instance, and it was I saw that and was pretty put off. So
yeah, that's fair.
Not ideal.
It would be tough for them. I don't imagine that the people doing these effects could have faked that as well as they did.
we saw what they did with the bat. So
Yeah.
They probably.
I was not on board with Randy. That the spiders and the bat, I was like, oh my god. It looks like one of those really bad taxidermies where it's like the eyes are like.
I think it doesn't even look like that. Like that.
Well, I mean, that's what it makes me think of. Where
it
it's
looks
like
dollar
this
store as fuck.
Nothing real at all. Like it looks so
To me,
bad.
It's genuinely like a dollar store thing, and I think that's what I like about it. Is it's like it's just so slipshod and ridiculous, and it's totally fair not to like it, but I found it completely charming. I'm like, this is like so. I don't know. It just made me laugh. It wasn't as big of a laugh as like the rat in Halloween Resurrection, but it kind of was in that realm where it was just like so stupid and so like the walking skeleton of a fucking bat just piddling its way across the.
That was
so funny. It's so ridiculous, and I'm just like. All of it together.
He's just really trying to get out of there. He's just trying to scooch out.
Just strolling.
And that dude's like, fuck no.
Yeah. I could watch this movie around Halloween. Monk
have this giant hammer anyway? It's like,
dude,
what are you using that
There's
for?
A million like trinkets and relics and that sort of shit that like we have no context for. I think that a hammer, I feel like I've seen hammers in it like for giant like gongs, bells, that sort of shit, man. Music making things like there's a million reasons they might have that, or it might just be completely made up and like just for the purpose of having them smash a bat. That's it. We have no idea.
I like the scene where the like main black magician that we see, he like is making some sort of potion or something, and he's got this skull that still has a brain in it, and he like muddles it up with a bunch of snake venom, and then like
he just kind of like immersion blends that shit.
He feeds it to the spiders that go and kill the abbot by stinging him in the eyes with like these metal rods is what it looks like, and like shooting venom into his eyeballs. That whole bit I was pretty into. It was bizarre shit.
I actually really liked that too. Like I was gonna say when you asked what our favorite parts were, I'm very split on it, but the first thing I thought of was at the end when they succeed and he pulls those out of his eyes. Like that. I don't know why, but like that just because the eye stuff maybe, but it really hit me right. I was like, visceral.
When Hung goes blind, it really doesn't like affect him at all. Nothing really affects it. Nothing really seems to slow him down. He just like carries on and still kills the shit out of everybody. And even though he's like banging his girlfriend, it doesn't really matter. He's still able to like do whatever he wants to do, and nothing really matters. No stakes really in this.
I mean, that's the thing. Even then, like they're like, we got to get this potion from this plant, and they're like, so, and it's kind of like with anime sometimes where it's just like, and then this next thing needs to happen. And you're like, well, what does that have to do? And you're like, it just needs to happen. It's just part of the process. Well, okay. Okay.
It has to happen because it has to happen.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Ups and downs.
It's a mixed bag.
It's
a mixed bag, but I have a surprising amount of heart for it, considering how unexpected so many things in it are. I actually might like. I don't know. I debate whether or not I like it better than Human Lanterns, even though that actually had like a story going. You know what I mean? Like a followable story.
Yeah.
But like the spectacle of this kind of hits me. Kind of makes up some of the difference for me, and I'm not sure where it lands just yet.
That's a thing. When I'm experiencing it, I'm like, oh man, I'm kind of ready for this to be done, honestly, just because you have to get to the end. But when I'm thinking back about it, I'm like, that was so wacky or so like pieces work in my mind. It's like, that was really interesting. But like, I guess when I knew I had to finish it and there's this much left, I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's this much left. Like, and I'm already kind of confused. It's a different experience. Like as a film, it's hard to get through, but as like a spectacle in my mind, it's kind of fun.
It's like 20 minutes too long for sure.
It's way, maybe even more than that, honestly. Like you said, that segment with the spiders, it's cool, but this is like, it's continuing on the bat situation. Like it kind of just keeps going and it's just confusing. And you're like, who is this?
Who? Yeah. Why are
It
they
takes
doing
a sweet
this?
time with every step of the ritual, and it doesn't really like have an emotional resonance when they complete any of those steps.
Because it just hops
kinda
back to the next thing, which is like kind of disconnected because it's a flashback, and then you have big info dumps like, oh, and also you're his twin brother, but in a past life. But then you also have another past life with your ashes, and you got to go get those, and also you got to go get this plan, and it's just like it's too much. It's just too much.
They're not concerned with the audience. It's like you're just kind of dropped in the bucket of insanity, and shit's just happening. You're like you gotta just roll with the punches.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any other major points you guys want to touch on before we rate this?
We forgot about all of the generational trauma themes that we have here, and all. No, I'm kidding.
Trauma is the real monster.
Yes, this is the first movie that I've ever seen to tackle such things.
You're right.
No, I think we're good.
I think so. Out of 5, let's go ahead and rate this bad boy. Juice, why don't you kick us off? How do you feel about The Boxer's Omen?
We don't want Randy waking up in a cold sweat,
so
I'll go first. I'll go ahead and set a foundation here.
Damn.
I'll go ahead and set the foundation. I don't know. This was a hard one because you're right. As a film, it's too damn long, and like I would be totally happy to throw on pieces of this. Like if it was on, I could see myself stopping to watch the next 20 minutes easily to be like, what the fuck? Or, to experience some of these things again, because visually it is very interesting. And even if it's not necessarily impressive, it's fun. And I'm just curious about what the hell's happening, or just, I don't know. It's very unique and original. I mean, there's a lot of crazy shit happening that I could never even think of, let alone pull off. Yeah. So in that way, I have a lot of respect for this film in those aspects. I do like, some of the locations, or going to some of these locations, or exposure. I honestly kind of wish when this movie started, I got a little excited because I wanted a little bit more of the gangster lifestyle. When he went into the club to meet Uncle Seven or whatever, it's like the lighting and just the clothing styles and stuff. I was like, I'm like interested in this, and we didn't get a lot of that.
He immediately shaved those luscious locks.
I mean, just like the clothing styles and just the beautiful women and stuff like that. It was just, I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. But that it went a different direction, which is fine. But I don't know. There's pieces of this I really like. As a whole, it's just too long and doesn't have a strong focus. And I don't really know. I don't know. I respect the craft a lot, and there are pieces that are enjoyable, but as a whole film, I just don't really care to watch it again. But so I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. I think I'm going to give it a 2.5, but because of the code, I got to give that half star for the Yabo. So I think ultimately I'll just end The Boxer's Omen at a 3 even.
Oh, Mang! Oh, what? Damn, we're really expanding that.
A 3 from Juice. Surprising, if I'm being honest.
those half stars. They can
go a long way.
They go a long way.
They come in.
This man can be bought.
I can't be. I've made that very clear from the beginning.
It's true.
No, nobody's questioning.
Randy, how do you feel out of 5?
I feel pretty similarly, honestly. Like I looked back and I gave Human Lanterns a 3.25. I edge on wanting to give it the same score, but
do.
I feel like I edge all the time. But when I'm thinking about like my actual experience watching this, I have a lot of like problems with this. I do think that I would watch this again. I genuinely think that if I watch this again in a group with like some music over it or something, and just sort of like react to the visuals and like let the story play out on its own and like be a passive watch, I would love this. I kind of feel like that's a very real possibility. I don't know. Like I'm more positive towards it than I am negative, but it's a pretty thin margin because my experience this time was thinking critically about it, and that's not conducive to this movie. Ultimately, the critical thinking does not do me a ton of favors when it comes to enjoying this movie. So with that experience in mind, I think I'm going to echo the 3. I don't think it's quite hits the critical highs of Human Lanterns, but it does have a lot going for it, and I think that the right circumstances, that score would bump up a good hunk. So
Bump.
Yeah.
Bump a hunk.
Score bumps.
You gotta bump a hunk every so often.
I was trying to look
That's
and
what it
see. In my mind, I like Human Lanterns a lot more than this, but I don't know what I gave it for my score.
I think you gave it a 3 flat.
Really? Oh shit, that feels wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember what I gave it either.
Oh, good luck sleeping tonight, motherfucker.
No, my sleep. No, I don't give a fuck.
Heavy lies the crown of the first to rate.
Rob, out of 5, where are you gonna rate Boxer's Omen?
The Omen. Pretty similar with you fellas there. The way to view this is very passively with some friends that you can, react together at the absolute insane shit that you're seeing on the screen. There's really no need to follow the plot closely. I really like the practical effects, and it has this like down and dirty kind of DIY vibe with some of it. I really like all that stuff, but it's just way too long. That sort of thing only gets you so far. In this movie, it's like 100 minutes. It's too long. So, with that said, I'll give it 2.5, right down the middle. I dig the effects, but everything else is just kind of a little rough. So that's gonna put our aggregate at a 2.8. And as is per usual, whenever you guys pick a flick for us to review, we encourage you to send over an email or a voicemail with your own thoughts and rating on that movie. And Miles sent us over a voicemail, actually 2 of them. So we're gonna play those real quick. Randy, you got that?
Got him. Ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
What's up, fellas? It's Miles. Want to say thanks for reviewing my pick this week. Holy crap! I think this makes 11 movies I've had you guys review now. I think I've had 11 U picks. No consistency with them at all in terms of country or tone or subgenre. So if anything, I'm good for variety. But yeah, this is another Shaw Brothers movie. Definitely leans more into the horror than really like other movie I had you guys review. It was kind of a martial arts horror hybrid. This is definitely more in the horror genre. I really like this director. This is the 3rd movie I've seen from him. He's known mostly for his horror, but he did other genres too. He did a really good period piece, like wuxia, like martial arts film. I think that's the only martial arts film he's made, but I've seen that. And then The Boxer's Omen is actually a sequel to a movie called Bewitched, which I've also seen. It's not as good as The Boxer's Omen, but maybe worth checking out if you're into this. But yeah, this movie's really fucking weird. That's why I picked it. I kind of compare it to Housekeeping in terms of just kind of batshit wackiness, like stuff going on. It's a little bit sleazier, I think, than that movie. Definitely a lot more on the gross out factor. There's a couple of scenes in this that actually make me feel physically ill, which is hard to do because I've been in the horror game for a minute. Completely batshit insane plot. It's called The Boxer's Omen, and there is a boxing subplot, but it really has nothing to do with the main plot. So I think every time I watch this, I forget that kickboxing even has anything to do with the main plot until it comes back in. It's like, oh shit, this is, I guess, yeah, this had to do with kickboxing originally. But yeah, I really like the sets in this. The practical effects go back and forth between really terrible and really good, but they're always interesting. There's always some really interesting shit to look at here. Negatives about this movie, I think it's too long. I think when you have something that's like insane and just off the wall, it can get very exhausting. So I think maybe about 90 minutes, 80 minutes, this would have been perfect. But I think this is an hour and 40 plus. And like once we get to past that hour 20 mark, like I'm just exhausted at that point. And even though the ending's really wacky too and fun, but Just want to hear how you guys, what you guys thought about it. Bob, good luck with the plot synopsis, because I don't fucking know, man. But hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks again for the pick, and keep chilling.
All right, we got one more part to this. I guess he had an addendum.
This is Miles again. I cannot remember if it cuts me off after 3 minutes, but and I didn't leave my score last time. But in summary, like the movie, crazy visuals. It's a little too long. I get exhausted around the 80-minute mark. I think that this would have been better if it was shorter, just with something that's insane and off the wall. Hour 40 plus, it gets exhausting. I'm tired. I'm too old now for all that craziness. I need to take my nap at that point and recover because I'm overstimulated. But I enjoyed the movie. I think the first time I saw it, I gave it a 3. I think right this time on Letterboxd, I gave it a 4. I don't know if I want to give this a 4. I'm thinking maybe like a 3.75 for me. But yeah, curious to hear what you guys think about it. Again, thanks for taking my pick, and keep chilling.
Well, right up until the point where he gave a score, I was like, well, Miles is right in line with what we were saying about it.
Yeah.
But I guess he
And
felt
even
more positively
as
than
somebody
we did.
who likes more of these style films, it's not that much higher. I mean, me and you are at a 3.75. Yeah. I mean, it's not too much.
True, but it just feels so close to a 4. And he was edging on a 4.
Always edging.
You know, we're edgers.
Also,
we're edgelords.
I would not have guessed that Miles had chosen 11 movies, but that just goes to show how long we've been doing this. How long Miles has been hard with the show. That's mind blowing, dude. That's so awesome.
We're cursed to roam the earth and eternally review films.
He might.
Heidelberg might have
out Heidelberg.
They're edging each other. I know that. Heidelberg might be at a Baker's Does, maybe. That's a guess, but they got to be pretty close. Yeah.
But does Miles have a straight chillin' tattoo? I mean, that's really the question. Is it time?
He's got it on one side of his dumper, which means it's like a billboard, basically.
I think at this point, we're heading into 10 years, 500 episodes. We've shown the longevity. That tattoo is gonna last you your life. So will straight chillin'. So I mean, we're
never
proven ourselves.
We're cursed to just keep walking this wretched.
So what I'm saying is, it's time for more straight chillin' tattoos. Okay,
we're gonna podcast from beyond the grave.
That's right.
Yeah,
we will never shut the fuck up. Okay.
We're gonna sign our souls away, as you see, and what that means is that this podcast will continue on forever. So.
That's our promise.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa. That's too damn bad.
That is.
So go out, get your straight chillin' tattoos. You want one. Randy's got
the mark
some
of the
great
beast,
designs for you.
Get it right on the old Yabo, and
right on the little Yabo.
That would be
on
wild.
Your littlest Yabo.
If somebody wants to tattoo Soju's signature, somewhere on their body, that's cool.
That's like the Kirkland signature.
You don't want Justin's signature on your body, dude. Your handwriting's the worst I've ever fucking seen.
My handwriting is pretty garbage, but it's very unique.
Serial killer.
But it's very unique.
It is.
I mean,
you can pick it out in a lineup. Oh shit.
It's
Miles,
very serial.
Kind of is.
Honestly, I've left you all the clues, Mr. Policeman. Is what it looks like. You should be writing that for every fucking.
It looks like you're writing in a way that it doesn't look like how you normally write, but it is how you normally write.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to write with your left hand for the first time.
That gives me an edge.
I love
It gives me the edge.
We are edgelords here, and we love edging.
Fuck. Miles, thanks for picking this week's flick, man.
Fuck. Fuck. I got another hour of this shit. Fuck.
Oh, fucking A. Boys, let's jump into our Rotten Maters segment.
No.
I mean, sure, we can.
Oh.
Certified fresh to death.
And it's done.
That's right. I forgot there is not a Rotten Tomatoes score.
There is no Rotten Tomatoes score, or there's not a single score that is recorded and listed on the Rotten Tomatoes for this movie, which is kind of surprising considering that it's on lists and shit.
Yeah, that is really surprising.
I don't know if they maybe it has to hit a certain threshold before they even show anything at all, but there's nothing on there. So I don't know what to say about it besides,
Besides,
get better. Do better, Rotten Tomatoes.
Fucking A. Boys. You know what? We do have a Cooter of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the week.
Juice. What is a Cooter and why do we hunt them?
Oh, Cooter's a character type in a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter has to hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter, but we want Cooter with the most points. 5 points of Cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, who is our Cooter this week?
Jesus, there's...
I don't know anybody's name. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. Well, that's a given. We are not going to nail that one. I think the first person that comes to mind is like somebody that I would immediately say like, who's this Cooter? Is maybe the opponent in the boxing ring, like the guy who paralyzes his brother.
My boy Boo
Bo Berry Biscuit.
Yeah, that's that dude. When Bob is saying that's all I can think of, dude. Bo Berry Biscuit. That's all I can think of.
Mr. Bo Berry Biscuits. Like, but the thing is, like, I don't think there's enough info on this guy to call him a Cooter. Ultimately, like, because we don't know what he does outside of like 2 scenes where he's in a ring.
True.
Like,
yeah,
I just don't think there's enough substance there.
He sucker punches a fighter when his back is turned and cripples, which is call that
patheticness, and then maybe some smug arrogance because they do that little press conference where he's like,
but that's like standard for a boxer.
I
honestly.
know,
so
but,
I mean,
yeah,
I count, but it's like kind of a gimme.
But other than that, I don't think there's any manipulation, manipulation, no sexual deviancy, no looking attire.
I think that everybody in that part of the movie is looking dope as fuck, to be honest with you. So,
okay, So
I just don't think it's there. I don't think there's enough there.
What about the group of black magicians? They sure like to
manipulation,
smug arrogance. You can definitely say looking attire because they look
maybe overall patheticness as well.
Whack. Yeah, they're eating rotten shit and like
they get whooped. They get their asses whooped.
They do get whooped.
I don't know. They don't
have the Cooter feel, but like
they don't. But they kind of operate on a Cooter wavelength.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, I don't know if you can really say like sexual deviance for like the creation of this crocodile woman. It doesn't seem like that really fits, but
no,
I don't know. I'm trying to make connections here for it.
Nothing really feels overtly sexual about it. I mean, she's just naked, but
yeah,
she's also just like killing motherfuckers. So
nudity is not inherently linked to sexual deviance, Randy. Okay.
Thanks, Christianity.
Peru.
Wow.
Mr. Baptist.
The Buddhist.
Fuck you.
The Buddhist got it right.
Baptist Randy. That's what
I guess, except you can't have sex if you're a monk. My boy Baptist Randeezy.
Baptist Randy. You know me.
Hot tub Christianity.
We're out of the Bowberry biscuits. Fuck.
This is Baptist Randy.
I need it.
I need it for the youth group.
I need it. Extra ice.
I was going to get some bowberries for the youth.
Now these kids are going to fucking roll my ass.
Man. It's Battle Royale Church.
They're hyenas. You got to throw them some scraps of meat every once in a while.
Jesus.
Damn.
Children.
This is an interesting church you go to.
Sounds pretty standard to me.
Yeah, boys, let's talk about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Randeezy, what you been watching?
I've got a handful of things for the past few weeks, but it's been mostly festival season, and I think you guys can probably relate to that. So here's my list. I finished up with The Boys season 4, and I enjoy that show a lot. I think that it got a lot of like some deserved criticism, I think, this year for being a little more, I don't know, like a little repetitive is what I would say. Like some people, like there's a lot of hay made over people not understanding that this show is a political satire also. Not particularly subtle one, but some people started finally figuring it out, and they did not like how it reflected upon them. So that was a whole discourse thing. But setting that aside, I think the show's in that regard the exact same it's ever been. What it is now is it's like just a little bit repetitive, as many shows going into their 4th season are. But I think that their 5th season is supposed to be the final one, and they've kind of put all their pieces in place for that. So I'm excited to see how they wrap that one up. That show has some fucking terrific acting. Speaking of terrific acting, even better probably is The Bear season 3. Got that wrapped as well. Bob, you were right. It's like kind of ends on too much of a cliffhanger to where it doesn't feel like a full season even.
Yeah.
But I was excited by the things that we saw in the final episode. I don't want to like say too much because it is still pretty fresh, and I don't know if anybody's watching it right now, but like the setting of the last episode, it felt so good.
Yeah.
And like the people, like the guest stars in this season in general, but in that episode, man, it was great. It was a lot of fun, and like the performances in that are so great. It's so like such a beautiful slice of life kind of show when it's not the most chaotic fucking like anxiety show of all time. I would agree with people saying that it's generally a little bit lesser of a season, and it's largely because the end point is not much of an end point. First season is dealing with the fallout of the death of the brother and the ownership of this restaurant, and the second season is prepping to open the new restaurant and like the renovations and all that and the stress of that. And then this season is just sort of like, what's the end point of this one gonna be? And it seems like it was supposed to be the release of a review, but that wasn't like, to me, made as explicitly clear as the other end goals of the previous seasons.
A lot of the episodes, or a handful of them, almost feel kind of like one-off little stories, which are very rewarding. But it feels meandery more so than the other 2 seasons.
Yeah, a little bit. But man, I love that some of that fucking Tina episode. I love when they just spend an episode getting to know somebody. It's fucking great.
Her husband in that episode, they're married in real life.
Oh, really? That's fucking, I forget his name in the show. Angel from Dexter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun to see him. Yeah. That's what a great show. I'm excited to see season 4 in like 8 years or whatever.
It's already done. They shot them back to back.
Oh shit, really?
Yes. I don't know when it's coming out, but soon I would
great.
think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why. Like, I don't understand that, but okay. I don't understand the impulse to do that, but that's like when they did like the Breaking Bad season 5 and season 5.5. Like, you don't have to just release them all at once, but like sequentially, give it extra time. I'd rather know what to expect from it, but whatever. That's just me. And then a handful of like just oddball things. Connor O'Malley is a comic actor that I really, really like a lot. He released a short film called Corey, in which he is this family man who's clearly beleaguered with his life, and he's getting Instagram messages from somebody who looks exactly like him called Corey, but he's like living it up in Las Vegas and like hanging out with strippers and shit, and like it just kind of flies off the fucking rails. Living the dream. Yeah,
hanging out
like,
with strippers.
It's a very that's the dream.
The one and only dream
that we all have.
The most exclusive people to hang out with.
Yeah,
you better not give me any
but it's like, in true Connor O'Malley form, it is very like it's very absurdist and like strange and like troubling in ways. Like it edges on horror. I don't know why the word edging is just all over the place today.
Oh, I know.
I have no idea why.
I have no
that would
earthly idea why
happen.
that would be. I'm just like teetering on an edge.
I'm
here.
so relaxed right now.
There's this guy named Freud, and he had this idea.
He had this idea. It was called edging. Anyway, no, it's fun. It's like
awesome.
I want to say it was like 20 minutes. I want to say it was like a 20-minute special. It's worth watching. I thought I posted it on the Slack channel, and only one person watched it and said, I think it was Nader, and he's like, "Well, that was weird." I was like, "That's appropriately true." Yes. Also, from a similar group of UCB people, Julio Torres is another comic actor that I know from the Gethard Show. Both of these guys are from Gethard Show. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He was just in a movie with Tilda Swinton recently, like headlining a movie with Tilda Swinton, which is crazy. And then he put out this show on HBO called Phantasmus. And I watched the first episode of that, and that's a weird fucking show. Very strange. Kind of got a little bit of like, what is that? Like, I don't know. It's just like
he was in that Lost
German expressionism stuff. Yeah, Los Spookies.
Lost
Yeah, is that what you're
Spooky
gonna
show?
say?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So he had some pull at HBO, I guess, because this show is just like train of thought shit. He's kind of the lead, but it like goes off into like little like subsections, little like vignettes, and then comes back. Not really an anthology, but kind of, and like the visuals of it are like German expressionistic in a lot of places, or at least like bare bones production done really interestingly, like really artistically. I don't know. I don't know if I love it yet, but the first episode was like, it left me pretty interested. So that's where I'm at. And then last but not least, I just want to shout out to my boy Weird Al for coming back out of retirement. Not really out of retirement, but out of a long hiatus, and releasing one of his classic polka medleys of popular music, and it was a lot of fun. And apparently he's talking about a new album that's going to be coming out, so I'm excited about that. Weird Al is a hero for me, so excited about it. That's about it, though. Otherwise, it was all festival stuff. Juice, how about you? I know you had a lot of festival stuff on the brain.
No, yeah. Unfortunately, everything I've been watching, which I have been watching more than usual, but it's all festival stuff, which we'll do in like wrap-ups and stuff like that for Fantasia coming up soon. So I'll hold on to those. Swinging over to Bob. What you been watching, guy?
Oh, hey. Just a couple things. We've been working through Yellow Jackets Season 2. And sort of similar to The Bear Season 3, it feels a little less focused, perhaps, but we're only a handful of episodes. But you got Wood. In. Yes. My boy Elijah Wood is in this season, and he is delightful, as always. Dude, he seems like the baddest motherfucker. Like, I want to hang out with Elijah Wood. He's like butter, is what I'm saying. He's a very great addition to the show, I think. He's wonderful. That's been going okay, though. More to come when we finish it up. I watched Arcadian, which is currently on Shudder. Nick Cage.
It's one we missed at Overlook.
Yeah, it is. It's sort of a post-apocalyptic type situation. Nick Cage is a single father, and he's got 2 boys he's raising. And they live kind of in this farmhouse situation, and it reminds me a lot of It Comes at Night, that A24 movie from a few years ago. Mm-hmm. And also, even more so, A Quiet Place definitely has that vibe. They don't have to be quiet, though. There's something comes at night, and it scratches on the door, and it's trying to get in. They've got it all barricaded, and they've got sort of a system down. They clearly have been living this way for quite some time. And then as the movie progresses, the family sort of, they have, fights with each other, and we see more of the creatures, and they, deal with various struggles. It felt way too samey to those 2 movies that I just mentioned. Like nothing about it felt fresh at all, really, except for the creature design. I thought the way the creatures operated and how they were like slowly kind of revealed to you was really interesting and felt pretty original. I could see people like really not liking it, but it worked.
You mean visually or nuts and bolts? Because of the way you said that.
Both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they look fucking wild, and the way they move and exist is just weird and different. So,
okay.
It was kind of neat. I liked it for that, but overall, watch it on a slow Sunday or something. I don't think you got to run out to go watch it, but it was okay. The only other thing I've really been watching is a little bit of Joe Bob. This past week was the 6th year anniversary of his sort of return. That like 24, 48 hour, however long it was, that first 13 movie marathon that he did on Shudder. And so I just been putting on like the Just Joe Bob segments and watching him talk about like a movie at a time here and there, just to revisit some of that stuff. And so that's about it.
Right on.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
Fuck.
What do you want from me?
Fuck. Well, boys, let's do something we hadn't done in quite a while, actually, and talk about a little bit of horror news.
Extra, read all about it.
That is old school. That is not even the current news bomb.
Haven't heard that in years.
Yeah, we've got an updated one.
We do, yeah.
But God knows where that is.
Yeah, I'm not hunting for it, so fuck you.
I've got it. I'll drop. You'll hear the new one in the actual feed. I'll drop it in.
That was great to hear that updated bomb.
Juice, what's happening in the news? What's going on?
Well, time for our weekly segment of horror news.
We do it every week.
Well, yeah, this is my standard segment. So Terrifier 3, as we know, is coming out. And they have released 4 new images ahead of a teaser trailer that will be coming out this Wednesday, which is when this trailer drops. I mean, no, this episode drops, man. The trailer drops the same day as the episode.
Some might say the filmmakers are edging us.
Whoa.
I feel edged. I'm on edge. And I'm crossing the edge.
There's 4 pictures. I feel like 2 of them are interesting. 2 of them are nothing. One of them is a picture of Art as he always looks, just regular black and white clown. And then one is of a character with some Christmas lights around her. So I'm not sure if that's the same main character from the first movie or not. I honestly can't really remember what she looks like. But the other 2 are interesting. So one is got this new kind of creature, which I know in the second one they introduced the pale girl or whatever. This looks like some kind of fish man monster thing, which is an interesting choice for a Christmas film. I don't know. What do y'all think about this fish man thing?
Oh,
I'm trying to,
I don't know.
look at what you're talking about. I think the fish man that you're referring to is a character that's been in all 3 movies. That's not new, and that's not a fish. She's just mauled by Art the Clown.
No. Look at the hand. No. Look at the hand. It's like it's webbed and is pointed.
Well,
according to USA Today, Victoria Hayes, Samantha Scafidi, the final girl from the first Terrifier, is now possessed by an evil entity, continues to play a major role in the horror franchise.
That's really? Well, her hand is webbed and her skin is scaly.
That's just a fact.
I think it's the lighting.
Yeah, I don't think it's... Oh my God. This website is the worst, dude.
I'm going to send it to you.
I'm looking at it. Like it's definitely.
You don't think the hand is webbed?
No, I think it's just the effects.
So.
It's just it's not a fish.
Really?
Yeah,
she looks like a fish. Okay. Well, never mind then.
I could see the confusion, but I don't think it's web. No, I think she's just
at the end of Terrifier 2, the character that gives
birth. Yeah, I know. Yeah, who's mauled, and she's on the show, and spoilers.
She looks different though, like in the face.
Yeah, it does look different. I thought it was like scaled. Okay, never mind. Scratch that.
I don't know.
Well, then that's not very interesting either. The main one is, I don't know, is this going to be their thing? So it's I like this picture as a setup for this film. It's he's got the Santa suit on. He's also got wacky glasses that have, I think, Christmas trees on them, which I know a big thing from the two was like him being in the Halloween shop and putting on the kooky glasses and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know if that feels so natural about just having Art always wear some kooky glasses, but I will say him in the Santa suit with the blood splatter. I'm down with that. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm kind of excited about the Christmas angle of this thing.
The fact that he typically carries around a sack, which is a trash bag. But I mean, that's kind of that works, Santa sack and stuff. I mean, it could be cool.
Why not? Yeah.
Could be cool.
Yeah.
I hope they rein it in a scotch, but
you see it says Mia on the door behind him.
Yeah, Mia and something else. At least the picture I have has the second name cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's got the reef on the door. That's cool. Also, there's like some scratches on the door frame.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic about this one.
You going to watch that trailer, Bob, when it comes out on Wednesday?
Probably.
Bob's on an
It's
really.
I usually
You've been on an anti-trailer.
I have
for
been,
good reason.
But I feel like I know what I'm getting out of Terrifier in a way that I don't know that it would be that spoiled. But I don't know. If it's a teaser, I'll definitely watch it.
Okay,
gotcha.
Yeah. I think I'll watch it. I mean, I honestly don't feel like a lot can be spoiled for me for Terrifier 3.
Yeah.
I'm just not invested in the story enough to be like, I assume everyone's going to die a horrible, terrible death. So, I mean, that's just what I'm going in assuming.
The hell will give you that idea?
And I don't think Art's going to be finished in some kind of way or anything. So, I mean, what are you going to spoil, really? I don't know. That's just me.
That's fair. I think you might get spoiled whatever song they use in a slow, somber manner in the trailer.
Oh, my dude. Speaking of, okay.
They're going to do a slow down version of Art is Hard by Cursive.
Well, I would love that, actually.
Ooh, Randy. Changing your tune, I see.
No, they got to do it's got to be a radio single. It's got to be like Backstreet's Back or some shit like that.
Oh, dude. My God.
We live in La Vida Loca. No, it's got to be something Christmas. So it's got to be like a Bing Crosby song. Low, somber, white Christmas. Or I guess that's already slow and somber. What's a not jingle bells?
One thing I'm not excited about, I guess, Damien gave a interview recently talking more about Terrifier 3. And one thing he did say is, I guess this is set 5 years after Terrifier 2. And
really?
he's talking like about the main character Sienna, and he's like, hasn't been an easy road for Sienna. She's been in and out of a mental health facility. Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Just dealing with all of this. Not only just what she's been through, but what she's becoming and what her role in this is in the universe, and also her connection, or Art's connection with Sienna and her late father. And I'm just like, dude.
This is not sounding very good. This reminds me of the time jump from Halloween Kills to Halloween Ends.
Yeah, that's the she's been in and out of a mental health. It's like, dude, come on, man.
She's gonna show death her tits or whatever Laurie Strode says.
Grief, Bob.
Grief.
Lowest hanging fruit. Oh, she's mental health facility.
Why do we need fucking chosen ones?
Sounds like some Rob Zombie bullshit, honestly.
She's gonna start fingering bagels.
A can of whiff-ass.
Ugh. So that's something.
I'm still somewhat excited, but we'll see.
I think people are giving that dude too much credit. I think he's showing himself to be just like lowest hanging fruit, like just want to shock you, just want to be wackadoo crazy, so you'll talk about. I don't know. I think people are over exaggerating that dude's talent. But anyways, another one was so they released, I guess, a final trailer for Romulus. And that trailer, did you guys watch it? I was watching it before.
I've avoided it.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it. It's another one where they're showing or they've got the slow old song dramatic. Dude, Jesus Christ. I know, like, we say it as a joke, but at this point, it's like fucking insane.
Turn.
Land down under.
A Vegemite sandwich.
But it shows several deaths of what I assume are major characters.
Damn.
Like the whole death sequence, like maybe not from start to beginning, but like the whole process of somebody's death, like in the trailer, and it's only like 2.5 minutes long. Oh, Jesus Christ. And actually, the more I watched it, the less kind of excited I was for it. It felt a little more kind of standard, like the kind of like story beats they're going with and stuff. I was a little, honestly, kind of dropped my excitement, which might be a good thing. Maybe I need to like drop those expectations pretty low, but.
Well, yeah, probably. Was there a Christmas tree though?
Well, TBD. Well, I want to keep that. I don't want to spoil that. I want to see if it's sneaky.
I shouldn't have even asked. I should have been edging on that a little bit.
But no, honestly, I will say, watching that try. I mean, I have been like keeping that in my mind for this year of like, that might be one of the more surprising ones this year. But after this, I think it might be a little more toward the standard side of things.
That's why you never hope.
Never hope for anything, especially things that are remakes and reboots and redos and shit like that.
That Obama should have never put that in people's heads. Hope?
Thanks,
no, none of that.
It didn't exist until that fucking poster.
Also, I want people to weigh in and see if you think that this is a fish monster or not. I really think it is. Other than that,
let us know.
I think it's just the lighting, but all right.
Yeah.
I was gonna play a little game with you boys. So Bloody Disgusting released a thing. We covered Long Legs last week, and we were saying, I bet this is gonna be a fun rewatch. And we were talking about like the hidden like devils in the woods and stuff like that. So I guess they numbered the amount of appearances the devil appeared in like secretly in this film.
Cool.
You guys want to guess how many times?
Oh, sure. Who first?
Randy. Well, no, you don't like to go first, so Bob. I don't
way to edge him. I like what you did.
Oh man, thanks for the boost.
I'll say I'm gonna take our comedy number is 69.
Oh, okay.
I think that'd be a pretty tall order, so I'm gonna go under and I'll say 35.
Oh, well, it's a lot lower than both of those. This says 15.
Okay. That's still a good number. When you said a lot lower, I was like, is it like 3?
No. So they list them. If you're curious about that, you can check that out on Bloody Disgusting and see where I'm going to wait. I'm going to let that one sit a while. I think by the end of the year, maybe before our top 10 list, I'll watch Long Legs again.
I think I want to watch it around Halloween. I feel like it'd be nice around that.
Maybe that's good.
Yeah. It might edge
but also it's winter.
The top 10 maybe.
There's a lot of winter scenes
on that
too. And it's sneaky Christmas. Remember, there's that Christmas tree. So we really actually need to wait till December to watch it. Right now, I'm gonna have to ask you to wait until December to watch.
I'm gonna have to ask you to stop asking.
So I guess that's all for horror news.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, man. I love that segment every week. It's my favorite.
We do it every
it's
week.
My favorite.
It's always the best. Well, we do have a couple voicemails to get to, so let's jump over into our Hotline Screams.
Hotline Scream.
If you guys are listening and would like to call and leave a voicemail to be featured on the show, you can hit us up at 904-638-3231. We got 2 to get to. First up, we're going to hear from our friend the librarian. Let's hear what she's got to say.
Gentlemen. Hi, howdy. So I don't know what the prompt is going to be for the Long Legs episode. I'm honestly calling to remind myself that, as you all know, I'm moving, and my move will be okay. Yes, I'm currently nervous shitting my pants over this, but by the time y'all hear this on Sunday or Monday, I will be fully moved in. So I am just recording this so that when I listen next Wednesday to this, I can laugh at my dumb, stupid head, baby head ass. God, moving is so stressful. Oh my lord. Bob, you know what I'm talking about. And I don't even have a wall of blues. I just got a wall of books. Ha, that's funny. Anyway, yeah, so future me, your move is going to be fine, so stop shitting yourself. Anyway. Bye!
I love the idea of people sending their personal affirmations to the to the future. Show. I love it.
Well,
reminder: buy milk and some yogurt. You're gonna run out of yogurt. You're gonna need more yogurt. Get some yogurt.
Also, people are supposed to call in about their sex dreams about us, but I guess that was
really
just they saved that for my DMs.
They just want to edge us on.
God damn. My dirty, filthy DMs.
I guess all my 69 plus DMs I receive, people want to keep those private. So,
what is none of your business?
Yes.
Well, Librarian, I know your move went successfully because you already said so in the Slack. So congratulations, you are the moving queen. I hope you didn't shit your pants too hard and you didn't have to throw them away. Just give them a light,
just buy some fresh ones. You don't even have to move them at that point.
Just wipe them off with a dry cloth, that'll clean them up. Really.
Just run it under a cold tap. It'll be fine.
Nope. No water needed.
Dry clean only. Sir, these shorts are caked in shit. Dry clean only.
So plump, so right.
Caked in shit. Damn.
Got a lot of Mexican.
Damn.
You guys are edging on distasteful right now.
You guys.
I hope you're enjoying the new joint, Librarian. Always good to hear from you. Next up, didn't say who they are. I believe this is Slytoski, though. I'm pretty sure. So let's hear what he's got to say.
I love you, Soju. Oh God, I love you, Soju. Also, Pearl X Maxine, end of story. Keep chilling, you fucking movie stars.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Well, I guess I spoke too soon.
You did.
Was that Roman Roy? What was that? Wait, so did he say Pearl, what did he say about Pearl Maxine? I didn't
Pearl
make it
X
out.
Maxine, ranking them.
Pearl X and Maxine.
Maxine.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, that's
the correct order.
That is correct.
I think I still put X over Pearl. I do. Yeah, I think the existence of X makes Pearl a better movie. I do. And
so you think
vice
if
versa.
X was erased and you just saw the movie Pearl, you don't think you would get as much from it?
I don't think so.
Really?
It's hard to say because I can't
agree.
forget it, but I don't think so.
either.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I think Pearl makes X a better movie.
I mean, yeah, they complement each other very well. I don't know. It'd be interesting to talk to somebody who has only seen Pearl and not the other movie. I don't know.
Yeah,
that was
that
Beck.
person that
Beck,
exists.
Beck had seen Pearl, and then we went to see X the week before Maxine came out, and Beck definitely likes Pearl best, and definitely thinks that it should be seen Pearl first.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's what
interesting.
They prefer. I don't know that I think I prefer the sequence that he came out in, but I like Pearl best for sure.
Well, yeah, I guess either way. But I think if I could do it again, I'd prefer to watch Pearl. Pearl's just the best. It's
the best.
It is. But, opinions, assholes, the thing.
They both shit themselves.
We have opinions. Rob's an asshole.
They're both caked in shit.
Dry clean only.
I know we said the word edging a lot, but we're also saying a lot of the phrase "caked in shit" this episode. I don't know. I just want to call that one
like
out.
3 times.
That's-
We've also said
That's probably
Those are
below
rookie numbers.
average, honestly.
yeah. Sounds pretty low. I got to get Buso's numbers
It's a
up.
very
my guy.
reserved episode this
Yeah.
week. Minding our peas and shit cakes.
Okay.
Ah, yes.
That sounds natural. Wait, do we have any
That's
more
wordplay,
voicemails?
baby.
No,
What are we doing?
that's it. That's all the voicemails. Again, if you
Why are we
guys
still talking?
if you guys are listening, call in 904-638-3231. Prompts for next week, boys. You got anything you want to throw out? We are talking about Ice Cream Man.
Screaming and creaming. What's the craziest ice cream you've had? I had some corn ice cream the other week. I posted in the Slack, I think.
I could get down on a corn ice cream. Probably.
It was like
Yeah, there's
sweet.
some-
I was like sweet corn.
That makes
I'll
sense.
tell you, I don't
Yeah.
know about craziest, but I think my favorite ice cream flavor I've ever gotten was at a place called McConnell's in Santa Barbara, and it was whiskey praline. That shit made me see God. It was incredible.
Damn.
So fucking good. They also had an Earl Grey biscuits ice cream that was also very fucking good. Like shit. Like I don't know what it is. The ice cream process makes like completely bananas combinations or like things that don't make sense as ice cream just makes sense once you try it. Like it's crazy how that works. Like it seems like it shouldn't work, but it just does.
I recently had like an olive oil ice cream too, and like as it melted, like it was kind of like olive oily or whatever. It was really good actually. They complemented each other, and I've had like a kind of I don't know what the spice was in it specific. It was like spicy basil or something. Like there was some spice, like I don't know, and then basil too. It was really good too. Yeah, ice cream is wild.
Spicy Mexican hot chocolate is a flavor that I've gotten of Talenti, I want to say. That is also very good. It's got a spiciness to it. I love a spicy ice cream.
Damn.
Spicy cream?
With ice cream.
Spicy icy cream. That's the shit.
Calling about ice cream. Best, worst, weirdest.
What are your 3 scoops? What are your go-to 3 scoops?
Ooh.
Give me your 3.
Top 3. Okay, yeah. Call in 904-638-3231. Talking about Ice Cream Man next week from 1995. It was the winner of the July poll. Slam it into your eyeballs. I think this one's pretty easy to find. It's definitely on Blu-ray. I'm sure you can rent it. I don't know that it's on streamers, but it might be. I did not check. So check out Ice Cream Man. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
So, are you Chinese or Japanese?